outside of the obvious question of Batman, right? I do fight crime in the evenings. I don't wear a mask though, I'm claustrophobic, so my face is exposed at all times.
Welcome back to the Off the Clock podcast. I don't know what to do with my hands. Neither does Justin. But this is a podcast where we take people out of the trucks, off the phones, and in this case, out of the office to see what life is like outside of the job. Today, I have the privilege of being here with the legend, the powerful, the almighty, Justin Pence.
Yeah.
He is the install manager here at 5 Star. Thanks for being here, man.
Thanks for having me, buddy.
Yeah. So I had to quickly pivot because we had to make an adjustment. This wasn't a planned thing, but I did come up with a really cool icebreaker because luckily I know Justin. Justin and I kind of played music together and we know the same people. And so I know a little bit about you already.
Yeah.
So this is a tailored question. Okay.
To me specifically.
To you specifically.
Got it.
So you grew up in the Cincinnati metalcore scene.
I did.
You're a 90s hip hop guy.
Big.
You are always cracking jokes. Accurate, all three, right? So if 5 Star had a company band, what would you name it? And would it be more metalcore mosh pit or more 90s hip hop throwback?
If we had a name, if we made a band today through 5 Star, through whoever might be musical abilitied, we would go with Relentless Pursuit would be the band name.
Okay. Where does that land? Is that hip hop? Is that metalcore?
I think it would be just kind of a combination. So the best thing about music is when you get a room full of just like-minded, or just art, or just creativity, or whatever it is. If you're passionate about something, you get into a room, you're like, I have this idea, this is what it's going to be, right? And you all get together and you all start doing the thing. It doesn't ever turn out that way, right?
Oh yeah.
So I think you just let it naturally just kind of progress to whatever it wants to be, and
so
however it turns up. To me, like, I would probably go with something a little, I wouldn't say metalcore, but maybe something a little like heavier, grungier, has that like 90s alt rock vibe. You come in with an idea, and however it just blends, it blends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Relentless Pursuit is a blank canvas.
Yeah.
And we're just going to let art lead the way.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, dude.
So tell me about your history in the home services industry.
Yeah.
You've been doing this a long time. I already know that. But how did you get into the home services industry? And then what led you to 5 Star?
So I had, like we just talked about, like I had huge aspirations to be a musician. Like that was the only thing I wanted to do.
Yeah,
right?
Me too.
My dad was a musician as well. He was in the cover band world, but music was a big part of our lives, right? Everything I've adapted from him as far as musical ability and work ethic kind of goes. My dad was like, that's great. I love that you want to do that. You just have to have a backup plan. And I was like, cool. Well, I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
So, school kind of happens. You go through life. I decided that I wasn't going to go to college. I wanted to pursue music. So I just stayed true to that, decided to roll in a trade school. And back then, they would have you take almost like an aptitude / skills test, right? So they put you in this room and like you would take like a paper test, and they would have you actually do like physical things. Like I had to like take cogs out of things and screw things over there, and they would time you and like overhead, crouching down. So originally I actually had applied for firefighting because I was like, I mean, how awesome is that? You're basically like a real life superhero, right? And for people that don't know me, huge nerd, love comic books, love superheroes. And I was like, oh man, I'd literally would be Captain America. I'm gonna be a firefighter. So I applied to do that. I do this aptitude test, and the lady was like, look, to be honest with you, like based off of like how you scored, you'd be more fit for doing something more physical labored. And I was like, I'm pretty sure firefighting is physical labor, by the way. So she gave me a list, like, here's a list of all these courses that you could take, right? It's carpentry, it was masonry, it was industrial facilities technician, it was car mechanics. And my dad worked on cars growing up. So anytime like something broke down, like we were always working on it. I hated it. I was like, I don't want to work on cars.
Yeah.
So I literally
Captain America's not going to work on cars.
Captain America's not going to work on cars. Dude, he's going to a mechanic.
Yeah, right.
So I literally just ABC'd, like, I don't know, that one sounds fine. And I just picked on a piece of paper, let's do heating and air. So I spent my junior and senior year in the Oaks Academy in Cincinnati, working through learning HVAC. My junior year summer, I got a job at my first place. I worked there literally my entire life, and just kind of grew as an assistant into a install lead. From there, some things had kind of changed through life. I went into new construction, really built a career there. Got into construction management, got a bachelor's degree in construction management. Did that for a while and just kind of ended up just kind of where I'm at today, and just got into the management side of things. Just a progression from and just kind of slowly grow self and get into that final seat that you want. Not necessarily the final seat, but the seat that you want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was the entry point to 5-star?
Some things that kind of changed in life at my last place that I worked at. And it was just, they say grass obviously isn't greener on the other side, right? It's not always greener on the other side. And promises were made and conversations were had. And I was not seeing the evolve from the conversation. I wasn't seeing the progress. And just kind of became this stagnant person where I just wasn't happy with who I was as a contributor to what would be this industry that we were supposed to be titans of. And I just felt like we were this room temperature glass of milk and never evolving. And it was always just, it was a negative space to be in. So I was looking to move regardless of where I went. And I actually had a job offer somewhere else to be the install manager / new construction manager at a place. Very similar job to what I was doing at the time. And a guy that previously worked here, I had worked with in the past, had called me and was like, hey, I literally had like the piece of paper in front of me. I had literally just had to sign like the job offer. And he was like, don't sign it. I need you to meet with Matt Musselman. I need you to meet with Christian Ratton. Just to have a conversation and see if you're interested. And I was like, yeah, man, I'll talk to anybody, right? So I did. And I remember we were in this building before we did all this beautiful construction. Our CSR room was way on the other end of the building, and I was standing in a dark hallway because half the lights didn't work half the time, and standing in a dark hallway with Matt, waiting on Christian to come down, and he comes around the corner. And I'm a huge hockey fan. Boston Bruins are my favorite team. They have been since I was a kid. I have a Bruins tattoo. I was wearing a Bruins polo that day for some reason, and Christian come around the corner. He's like, "You a Bruins fan?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he was like, "Hired." Sat down in a meeting and we just talked. I mean, it was an interview, but like we just talked as if we were old friends, right? Yeah. Just all the life happenings, all the other things that come with it. And it just felt natural. And I fell in love in that moment. And I felt like I'm going to do something here, right? Mm-hmm. What they are building right now is going to be something to...
Was that the thing that made you feel that? Like you could see the picture of what this was going to be? And
what he painted at that time, I was like... Yeah, that's awesome. That sounds great. But what came with it was the camaraderie of that moment, right? Like being engaged with Matt and Christian in that moment made me feel like I was already a part of what they were going to build, right? Mm-hmm. They were already building something. Passion. Yeah, I felt their passion. Mm-hmm. I felt the love that they had for what they were doing. And then as I walked through the halls and was just shaking hands with random people, it just kept being more inviting and more inviting and more inviting. And I went home and I was between a rock and a hard place. I was like, do I sign this piece of paper or do I sign this piece of paper, right? And it was almost like a college day signing, like which hat am I grabbing? Mm-hmm. I'm a big pros and cons guy, so I literally just had this giant...
The old Ben Franklin.
Yeah, I just kept going back and forth like, oh, this is this and this is that, but they really do this and they focus on the generosity side and they give back and this and that and this and that. And my wife stopped me and she was like, stop. You just keep going back to 5-star and talk about all the great things that they do. And they have this kind of Google rating and they care about this and they care about that and they speak to you and all of your love languages are there. And all you keep saying about this company is like, well, I can build this and I can build this. It's going to be big work to get to that point. Not that this one wouldn't be, but like they did not have the almost 5-star rating on Google, right? So it was gonna be a big hill to climb.
Missing the passion?
Yeah, they were missing that passion. They were missing that relentlessness, that expert ability. And I was like, I think you're right. She was like, your mind's made up. You're just wanting someone to tell you. Mm-hmm. Just make the decision. We'll support you no matter what. But I think you know which one to go with. And I remember I drove to work the next day and Christian called me on the way. It was like 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning. Typical Christian time to call at that point in time of our lives.
Probably really high energy for that.
Oh, yeah. The coffee had not sunk in yet. And he was like, yo, dude. And I was like, oh.
Yeah.
So, and we talked on that. Like I sat in the parking lot ready for work, and I sat on the phone with him for another hour just talking, and he was just like, let's do this, man. And I was like, all right, we're going. Mm-hmm. So, you know, I signed off that day, and here I am, I believe 3 years later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Happy to have you, dude.
Happy to be here.
You've been an integral part of the growth. So
it's been beautiful to be in this situation, see the growth of not even just obviously myself, but like everybody else that has been here in that time, and how the building has changed and how we attack things as a team. Like that's the biggest thing is like, I've never been a part of a team that thinks as a team, right? Like I'm not in marketing, right? But when they need help with something, I don't mind to jump in and say like, yeah, I'll do it. It's not a big deal. That's right now. Like this moment, right? Like in this podcast, like this moment.
This was like last second, like we're doing this in the break room.
Yeah.
And so we pivoted and you came in clutch.
Yeah.
So we appreciate it.
But that's even outside of that's infectious though. Like it goes down to the next person,
One team, one goal.
Not even like they work in your department. Like everybody just jumps in like, yeah, I'll help. I'll do that.
Yeah.
I don't even know how to do it, but let's do it.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. I love it.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Tell me about a hero in your life. Is there somebody in your life that you point to that's like they were someone that stood out that helped like form you in your years?
Outside of the obvious question of Batman, right? I do fight crime in the evenings. I don't wear a mask though. I'm claustrophobic, so my face is exposed at all times. However, my dad's a huge inspiration to me, especially as I got older, right? My dad instilled obviously my musical abilities. Like he showed me every piece of music that I could ever touch, and I grew it from there and got into things that he hated. But like,
what did he play? I know you played bass. He played bass.
Yeah.
Okay.
I started playing guitar, switched to bass because that's what Dad did, and like then we could bond even more. But his work ethic was just like, it is a workaholic kind of mindset, but at the same time, like he really pushed that push the grind kind of mentality. Is like, own what you do, man. Like your legacy is your name. It's our name, but he really pushed that, and he really was good at the generous side, especially the older he got. He was really good at the generous side with like giving back to individuals that were really in times of need. He got really involved in his church, just being someone that everybody could lean on, right? Mm-hmm. And I feel like as I lead as a person, you know, here at 5 Star, also being a father, like I want everybody that is involved with me to realize that like if in a time of need, I could lean on this person, right? This person will drive it home with us. So I would say my dad is a huge pinpoint for me of who I became as a person today, for sure, 100%.
Yeah.
And Ron Swanson, obviously.
Yeah, man. The next question I have, I feel like I may know the answer to because I know you.
Yeah.
Can we talk about the hardships?
Yeah.
A hardship that you've had.
Yeah.
Something that's like, you know, changed you.
I mean, hardships should change everybody. It's negative in the moment, but over time, as long as you don't let it consume you, right? We always rise from it. Relationships are hard. Deaths are hard. You know, when my last relationship failed, I took a big part of that on my shoulder, right? Mm-hmm. But it takes two to tango. You know, it took both of us to make that decision. My dad passing a couple years back was really tough because I was a new father. It was tough to get through.
How old were you? You only had one kid at the time?
I had one kid. We were literally getting ready to announce our second one. So at that moment when he was in the hospital, I had gotten that phone call. I let him know that. I mean, he wasn't coherent. I mean, he was with us, but he wasn't obviously because he was in a vegetative state. I had let him know then that it sucks.
Take your time, dude.
I'd let him know then that, you know, we were expecting.
Yeah.
So, but the best part of all that, obviously, is, you know, having a child. The best part of all that was, I remember we were sitting in the hospital. My dad had been gone for, you know, 7-8 months at that point. I was just sitting there. Our first two kids, we didn't find out what they were, right? So we had
You waited until they were born.
Yeah. Which is,
I don't know I could ever do that.
The first 30 days are tough. After that, it's like, let's just, right.
Do you just buy neutral colors?
Yeah. I hate yellow. That's the neutral color, right? Yeah. So the fun part about all that was, you know, with my dad passing, we were sitting there having our second one, and she comes out. We had a name picked of whether it was going to be a boy or a girl, right? Mm-hmm. Comes out, it was a girl. We had Delilah Marie Pence picked. And I was sitting there, my dad's name's Daniel. And I was sitting there and she just comes out. We're, she's getting all cleaned up, doing the thing. And I looked at Shannon and I was like, hey, what if we did like a hyphen to middle name? And she was like, what? And I was like, what if we did like Marie Danielle, like after my dad? And she was like, yeah, I guess so. And then after time, like she gets it, like she got, I mean, but at the same time, like to hit her in that moment, full of anesthesia and all these things, she's just like, it's funny how you brought that up. Like, just really put me on the edge there. Like, but yeah, so my middle child is named after my dad, which is funny being, he always would get mail when we were growing up and it would say Daniel. And being a little kid at the time, I'm like, who is Danielle? They don't live here. So I'd always be sending mail back like, Danielle doesn't live here, bro. Yeah. So we would always call him Danielle all the time. But it's funny to name my daughter after him because if he was around, he'd be like, really, dude? Danielle? That's that's how you're naming her after me? Well, I wasn't going to pick Lloyd, which was his middle name. So yeah. So hardships, man, like they're there for a reason, right? Life's not meant to be unicorns and ice cream cones, right? It'd be cool if it was, but it's not.
Maybe a little Batman too.
But no, life is the Batman, right? It is the hardships, right? It's going through the dark times of losing.
You are
somebody.
Batman.
Boom.
Yeah.
But my parents didn't get shot in Crime Alley, so there's that. So, but it's going through those dark moments and not adapting. Adapting the victor mentality versus the victim mentality. And that's one of my biggest things growing up is like, I don't let these hardships take me to the victim side, right? Like it might for a minute and I might feel bad for a while, but like eventually I have to lace up and get back out there.
Where did you learn that principle from?
I think just with my dad, and just seeing others struggle through that kind of stuff too. Like struggles are hard, right? It takes a strong-willed person to get past a struggle. But when you see somebody that wants to constantly make an excuse to say like, well, I can't do that because of this. No, you can do that because of you just don't want to, because it is hard. It is a challenge. You will sweat. You will probably fail. You will probably miss stuff. That's okay. It's just how you bounce back from it and the lessons you learn from it, right? So, hardships are not fun, but it should be molding us into being the better versions that we can be.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, man. You've been through a lot.
Yeah.
But you're one of my favorite people ever.
Nice.
The positivity, dude. Every time I'm around Justin, it's always positive and fun. So what's next, dude? What's a hope? What's a dream? What's your vision for the future?
Hope for me, man, it's just constant growth, right? Never satisfied. Just keep with that hunger, and just be, intentional in these moments, right? It's I don't want to be satisfied with who I am as a person, right? I want to constantly grow. I want to constantly learn more. I want to constantly be the next person that I need to be here, right? I've told my leadership, like, whatever that looks like for me, I'll do it. Like, I don't care, like, because I'm not only am I bought into what we do, I'm bought into the people that are here too, right? Like, every person that I interact with,
maker, isn't it?
It's a huge difference maker. If we didn't have like-minded individual people here that want to grow this to be the best version of this company can possibly be, or just be around the best versions of people that we have around here, what are we doing? Right? So whatever it takes, I will be whatever I need to be here. I don't want to put a label on anything. I just want to stick around for the ride and be a contributor and be the best version of myself for myself, for 5-star, for my 3 gremlins at home, my wife, just whatever it takes, dude. Yeah.
Nice, man. So we have our 5 core values, and you've done a really good job of like sprinkling them in the conversation.
It's what I do.
Yeah. So of those 5, I want to know which one are you most, which one, relates to you the most?
Yeah.
And then what's a message you can send to our audience internally, and then also like on YouTube, anyone watching that's channeled through one of those 4 values?
I always say relentless. Experts is great. As you kind of grow in a person that runs a certain type of department in one of our verticals, right? You eventually have to turn off that light switch of not necessarily being the expert in the field, but being the expert as a leader, right? Expert's great, but expert can apply to so many different things, right? It can be CSR, it can be marketing, it could be just leadership, right? I would say that I'm an expert in HVAC. I wouldn't say I'm an expert in being a leader. but I do toggle that light switch when I need to, right? My biggest thing is relentless. You know, never satisfied, you know, just having that hunger, that growth to want to just run at everything head on, run at everything with the mindset of like, I might fail, I might win, but I'm going to embrace every second of it, whether it happens or not, right? For a positive or a negative. So for me, it's relentless. For my piece of advice, man, it's literally just understand that like you're not perfect, right? I'm not perfect. But we're going to do things the best way that we know how to do. And if we stay positive with it, if we stay, you know, intentional with it, intentional with our attention, it'll all work out in the end, right? And we'll all bounce back from it and we'll all learn. Just like I said, man, be relentless. Go out there and dig. Yeah. So, yeah.
Powerful, dude.
Yeah, but
to wrap it up, man, try to keep it lighthearted and fun.
Yeah. Since I've already cried.
Yeah. I feel like you're already the kind of guy that like everyone kind of knows who you are, but is there a hidden talent or a interesting fact that most people don't know about Justin Pence?
Yeah, man. My thing is like I'm an open book. I'm a big storyteller. So anybody that like wants to hang out and talk.
I've heard some really good stories from you.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Hidden talent. I'm pretty good at eating pizza. So there's that. Tacos.
Do you eat pizza alone? Is that why it's hidden? Like,
no, I'll put it in. We can do it right now. I don't really have a hidden talent, man. Everybody knows my talent. I'm a big musician, big nerd culture guy. I love, you know, Dungeons and Dragons that people don't know. I love.
Are you is it a dungeon master? Is that what they're called?
I don't like being a dungeon master.
Okay.
I mean, it's fun.
You just like participating in the.
Yeah. Because it engages a part of your brain to be a little creative and kind of gives this vulnerability out, right? Like if you have to like do something that necessarily you might not be interested in or might not want to do or whatever. Like I'm not a big act out kind of guy or have different voices for Dungeons and Dragons. I've got buddies that do it and I'm like, that's just not me.
Yeah.
But sometimes you get kind of in the moment and you do it or whatever.
You're not a method. You don't do method acting.
I don't do method acting. You know, I'm a tree. No, I don't do any of that kind of stuff.
I would probably have fun. I would try to like stay in character, even like if we're doing it like every Monday, the whole week, I'm in character.
Yeah, it's I'm a big nerd culture guy. I love 80s stuff, 90s stuff. I don't know. I don't really have a hidden talent. I mean, the one thing with being into like RPG, like board game kind of stuff, the best part about being a dad is my oldest has gotten into like Dungeons and Dragons and stuff.
Oh, cool.
So like her and I will play. My nephew that lives up in Cleveland, he's gotten into it. So like seeing it kind of like be
passing it down.
Has been so much fun for that. But I don't really have a hidden talent, man, unless you just want to stop by sometime and watch me eat pizza. That's all I got. Do you have a hidden talent? I used to be able to make like the water sounds.
Yeah. I
can't do it anymore.
I'm like you. I pretty much I'm an open book. I don't hide anything.
Yeah.
So if I have a talent to show, I've probably shown it already.
I would love to learn a new talent. I think that'd be
too.
Cool.
Yeah.
Just don't ever have time for it being here and then being at home with 3 kids. It's mowing grass or
I have enough talent.
Wrestling kids.
Enough to manage. I think we're good.
Yeah, I'm with you, dude.
Yeah. So again, guys, if you haven't already, follow the page, like and subscribe, leave comments. We want to keep continuing the feedback, continue to grow and make this thing better for you guys. So we will see you next time. Thanks for coming.